Hi, I'm Gabrielle Brickey, and I'm so excited to draw today. Grab your markers, let's get started. Today I'm going to be using some Ohuhu brush markers. They are quite literally the best markers I've ever tried in my entire life. They are incredible markers. I got sent this set of Sweetness and Blossoming, is what it's called. Ohuhu Sweetness and Blossoming set, and it's a set of 96. They're beautiful pastel colors. And I just absolutely adore them. They're so much fun. When I first tried these, right, I put the marker to the paper and I was like, this cannot be this easy. This cannot be this fun, this satisfying. I just was like instantly hooked. And I've been making them, all the time ever since. So this is the Ohuhu Sweetness and Blossoming set. It's their set of 96. I'll put the link down in the description for you if you want to go check them out. And what I love about Ohuhu, and this is not an ad, this is just me being a literal super fan. What I love about Ohuhu is they're so affordable. I just remember when I was younger, a younger artist and, not making much money, and there was Copic markers were the it marker back then, and I just remember being like, why are these so expensive? I need just to get a beautiful set, it's gonna cost me like $100, $200, $300. So I remember just one by one piecing out the colors that I wanted and just slowly building up my collection of Copic markers. But with the Ohuhu markers, you can get 96 markers for like 70 bucks. I don't know, it might change, but right now, it's just such an incredible price. It's absolutely unbeatable for how good they are and how smooth. So with this character right now, let me jump into talking about the character now that I'm done gushing over those. So right now I'm using G320 Jade Green, and it's just this beautiful little teal color that I love. I just love doing funky colors on my character's hair, and this is just one of my favorite types of hairs to do. So I'm just using quick strokes, and you can see how here on these bangs, I'm working from the bottom up and kind of just pulling the color up, kind of just doing quick strokes there. And now I'm just gonna pull it back down so that once the strokes sort of meet in the middle, you'll sort of get this really light highlight right there in the middle where the strokes are meeting. Now here around her neck, I do like to darken that area up, so I'm just adding another layer of that jade green. And it's not going quite dark enough for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab G420 Green Shadow, and I'm gonna see if I can darken that up a little bit more. So right here where the neck kind of meets the hair, that's gonna darken up some. So I'm just gonna darken that here. And I'm working with my line art. And if you don't know, this is a printout. So what I like to do is I create or sketch my character in Procreate, and I use my favorite Willow charcoal brush for this, Willow Charcoal Streamline, and you can download that for my free set if you want. But basically, I sketch her up in Procreate, and then I go ahead and print her out with I actually go over to my mom's house, who lives right next door, and I steal her printer for a little bit, and I print out my character. And the reason I love this process is because it's so freeing. You know how when you have a pencil sketch that you've been working on, and you've just it becomes, after you work for a while on it and you enjoy it and you like how it's looking, it becomes this precious little sketch that you do not want to touch and you're scared to touch. And I feel like that all the time. And sometimes with using alcohol markers, to put it on top of pencil, it can kind of get smudgy, it can kind of get a little weird, and it's a risk because you could make a great colored version of that sketch, or you could completely ruin it, which I've done many, many times. So what is freeing about this process is I can sketch her up in Procreate, I can print her right out with a printer, and then I can just color her honestly as many times as I want. And I can also mess up as many times as I want because I can always just print out another one and try again. So that's what I really love about this particular process I'm using lately. And right now, if you're wondering, I'm using a darker color called E380 Ash Rose just to get these kind of deep tones around some of these bends in our hair. And now I'm back with the Jade Green G320 and just going right over my lines, the essential lines. I'm not doing a bunch of little hairy strokes because that's just way too detailed for my style. I like to keep these really as simple as possible. So now I'm testing out some colors here, and for the skin, I'm gonna try this E090 Eggshell White. I'm gonna start on the ears here. And I like to go around the edges of her features first. And then what I'll do is just do these tight little squiggles. So let me go around this edge first though. Right around her bangs. And then, yeah, I just like to use these little tight squiggly lines, and I kind of go over the skin, just not slowly, but not too quick either. I go at a nice balanced pace and I move through this whole face, kind of overlapping the part I just did, and then just going around these tight little circular motions, oval motions, whatever. Little squiggles. Round and round and round. And with alcohol markers, they're so good. They just blend so seamlessly. And especially this brand, Ohuhu brand markers, they're just incredible. So here I'm just going around the outline so I can stay in the lines, and then just using those tight, long oval shapes, sort of like a ellipse. And going around here. And then just using those same sort of squiggly, tight oval shapes. I don't know how else to describe that. But I'm not going stroke, 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 and then like not overlapping it. I'm definitely overlapping kind of the section that I just did as I move slowly down the skin. The shoulder here. So I kind of outline and then just use those tight squiggly motions to color it in. Now I'm looking for a lip color, and I'm gonna go with this RV280 light pink. Let me try that out. Let's give that a go. Very pink. Okay, so I like this, but it's a little bit cooler than I thought I was going for. So I might want to warm it up with some layering in a little bit. Let me keep playing with it though. All right, let me put it on the earrings too. And then I'm actually gonna switch here to YR070 light orange and just warm this up a little bit. I think that really looks a lot better with the hair color. I like that color combination better. What I also think is cool about printing out your line art is you can like change the colors, like do hue saturation sliders on your line art and, you know, change the color of your line art, which is fun. Or you can, you know, alpha lock your line art layer and just change the color. So I made her kind of a bluish line art here. All right, now I'm just gonna use that same color, YR070 light orange, to do these hearts here. Just a fun little accent. Give the character a little bit of story. And now using that same color again, keeping it unified, I'm just gonna color in her little straps of her shirt here. And then to kind of match up with the lips and the layering I did there, I'm grabbing RV280 again. And that's that light pink. All right, so now I've got G320, which is that jade green again. And I'm just kind of lightly indicating these eyebrows. Typically, if I do like a colored hair kind of look, I'll make the eyebrows more of a neutral shade, but I'm just gonna go right in with the jade green. Now I'm grabbing E090 eggshell, and I'm just gonna add a couple more details here, kind of layer some colors. This is definitely something I want to experiment more, kind of layering colors. I tend to keep my drawings, like I said, really simplified when I use this process, but I'd love to branch off and just really experiment and have some fun. Just darkening up around these eyes here, kind of add some depth with that eggshell color. And now back with G320, just darkening up. They pull from the top there. And you'll notice as you layer with the same color, it does kind of fade, and it becomes, not fade, it kind of like sinks in with the layer you put in before, so it's very subtle. The step up is very subtle, but it's nice and simplified. So right now it looks super dark, but it is gonna dry a little bit. So one of my favorite parts of sketching characters are these little highlights. So I like to put 2 little highlights on the eyes, and then a little line on the nose, and then sometimes I'll put a little dot on the lips. So I'm gonna try that here. And then sometimes, you know, jewelry could get a little highlight, just for a little fun. And then right at the inner corners of the eyes, you can put little dot highlights too, to just kind of look like makeup, you know. And then on the chin, I'm just gonna put a dot highlight too, to show that roundness of the chin. All right, now again with the E090 eggshell white, I think I called it eggshell earlier, it's eggshell white. I'm just gonna darken up that shadow under her chin, so the shadow that the chin and jaw cast onto the neck. And it's a super simple way to light your characters, is to put that shadow that under the nose, and then to also put that shadow shape right there under the chin on the neck. And it's just a really super simple way to light your characters. And I have a video all about lighting your characters and 5 scenarios that I think are great for lighting characters, and I'll put a link to that in my description, so you can check that out if you want. All right, so now I'm gonna try and put a little bit of blush on her cheeks, just to give a little bit of rosiness. And I'm using RV260 for this blush. And I'm trying to do it really light, because I want it to be subtle. I don't want it to look like a bunch of blush. Just grabbing my white gel pen, and I really like the Uniball Signo white gel pens. I think they work really well. They have a nice flow to them. Sometimes if I make a little oopsie mistake like this, I'll use my white gel pen to try and fix it up. Sometimes it works. So now I've got E090 again, and I'm just darkening up this area around the hair and right into the neck there. Just deepening that up a little bit so she can really pop. And I'm going with the curve of the hair. So right now I'm at one of these points where I'm like, okay, I could stop or I could press forward and keep playing around with this. And you know, 50% of the time I'm glad I pushed forward, 50% of the time I wish I would have just stopped. But we're gonna keep rolling with this and kind of toning down this hair a little bit. Even though I really like this color of her hair right now, I'm gonna go back and try that on another character in the future. But I'm just sort of reiterating this kind of curve of the bangs with my strokes. So I'm making sure I imagine how that bang would curve and I draw that stroke that direction. All right, so I think I'm just gonna go in and color this whole thing because it's looking a little uneven and kind of patchy with the colors. So I'm just gonna put a layer of the E090 over the whole hair. I might try and leave a highlight though, I'll see. Sometimes I kind of work around and save that bit for last. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and cover it all up. That's better. I kind of like that. I mean, I really liked that teal hair, but I think this looks cool too. There's like a really neat layering effect that's happening, which I think is fun. It makes it visually exciting to look at. Although I do love simple. I will say, I do love simple. At this point, the markers are getting kind of wet, but it's no big deal. They dry pretty quick. Isn't this so fun? This is like, I love drawing like this because it's just so relaxing. I feel like when I'm able to draw, I just get in the zone and I forget about all my worries, and it just makes me feel at peace to draw, and I just love that experience with drawing. So I'm just kind of darkening up around the edges here. And I'm still just using E090. It's kind of funny how many different ways you can use the same color brush just all over, and it just looks different everywhere. So now I've got G322, and I just want to add a little detailing, something fun. So I'm going to add some stripes to her shirt. And this is G322 Pale Aqua Mint. Sometimes you don't really know what color is going to come out of the marker, so I do recommend either making your little swatch charts that the markers come with, or you can just have a little piece of scrap paper next to you and just test the colors out before you use them. Because the caps on the back don't really sync up perfectly on most of them. I want to deepen up this edge of her chin a little bit, so I'm going to grab E220 and just sort of outline her chin here to make it come forward a little. Just using the very, very tip of the marker. And that's what's so awesome about brush tips too, is you can get a nice variety. You can use the very, very tip of it to get these really nice thin lines, or you could kind of press down on it and get those thicker lines with the whole belly of it on the paper. I don't know if it's called a belly, but that sounds cool. All right, so now I've got E090 again, and I'm just gonna deepen up around the edges of the neck here and the clavicles. Just to give a little teeny bit more dimension. That's kind of the test for me. Sometimes I'll grab my camera and kind of like see, okay, well, it looks good in real life, but how does it look when it's being photographed? That can oftentimes reveal some wonkiness, so little tip there. Now I'm just using R19 around the edges here. It's called Barely Beige. All right, so now I am just really starting to play, right? I've got my Uniball Signo blue gel pen here. It's like so pretty, but you know, I just want to see if I can bring back up a couple of these details. So I like to add just a couple eyelashes, and I think that looks kind of cool with these other colors I have going on. Like in my old age, I've really started to appreciate like the blue orange combination of colors and like greens and oranges. As a kid, I was just like, I did not like those color combinations at all, but as an adult now, I don't know, I just think they're so much fun. So I really like how the blue's playing with the oranges. So this is kind of new to me, just kind of being casual with you guys here on YouTube. And normally I have more formal kind of written out scripted videos, but right now I'm just chatting with you guys. And I took a little poll, and thank you all for anybody who answered in the community section, just to see what you guys were looking for. And the majority of you said, do informal videos, but make more of them. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I love sharing and talking about art, and just if I can help anyone in any way with some part of this process, then I'll be happy. So all right, so now I'm just playing around with this Uniball Vision needle, and it's got this really fine tip, which I think is nice for being really precise. And I'm just gonna try and put these pupils in here, and that's looking a little weird. So I'm gonna grab a Q-tip here and see if I can dab it out some. All right, so yeah, those dry pretty quick. So there's that little tip. Those dry pretty quick. So I'm gonna actually take one of my markers, I think, and try and dye this down a little bit, because that's a little too intense. She's looking a little hypnotized here. So I'm gonna grab G322 to just darken up this pupil and iris area. Now I'm just using E380 to darken a little bit more. That's Ash Rose. All right, that's a little bit better. And now I'm using my trusty Staedtler 0.5 millimeter 4B Pentel lead mechanical pencil. And this is one of my absolute favorite drawing materials, one of my favorite sketching pencils. All right, now I'm gonna try this Uniball Vision needle in the blue and just kind of darken up the eyeliner here, the lash line. Just to give that final little bit of pop to the eyes. So I'm kind of battling, do I put in more details or do I leave it? You know, this is where you are at this point. It's this balance of, all right, do I push it forward or do I kind of leave it as is? So I'm just gonna darken around the irises here with my pencil, because that's a little bit safer. I can erase that, right? Now I've got that Vision needle orange pen again, just darkening that up just a bit more. I'm gonna outline around the hearts here. And, oh, look at me go. Look at me go, just messing it all up. Okay, that's okay though. We will go back and try and fix that. I try. I'm always fumbling right at the end here. All right. You know, this is just another reason to have a white gel pen. You gotta have a white gel pen. That's a little better. Hey, you know what? You back it up. You can hardly see it, right? Tell me you can hardly see it. All right, now I'm just gonna take E090 again and just go around these bangs a little bit and kind of darken up a little bit around here to really get that turn under. Just a couple extra little strokes here at the top. Bangs are really fun to draw, aren't they? All right, let's see if I can fix this heart up with the blue pen to the rescue. That's a little better. And it kind of matches with the eyes. I think that's kind of cool. All right, now I've got G320, and I think that we just need one little final touch with this drawing, and I'm just gonna do a little kind of halo outline with this marker. Just one stroke. So I'm just kind of outlining. And I think that's cool. That kind of, I feel like that kind of brings it all together, brings all these colors together, and is a nice touch to finish off this piece. I'll do this part too. All right, so that is a wrap on this one. I wanted to say thank you so much for watching. And if you have no idea how to sketch characters like this, you know I've got a class, so check that out in the description. If you want to grab the line art, go ahead and grab it. And I would love to see if you color her, just tag me at Artwork by Gabrielle so I can see it. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, bye.